Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. How many no's you need in order to realize that that's a no? 1 no, 2 no's, 3 no's. This is the situation with Crimea and the Donbass. The Ukrainians, or let's put it this way, the people in Kiev, were already told for about almost 10 years now, that they don't want to be part of their little hanky-panky. How did they tell them that? After the coup in 2014, the guys from the eastern part of Ukraine and the Crimea said, no, we don't want to be with you. We're going to separate. They sent tanks. Well, then they voted not to be part of Ukraine anymore. Second, the third one, they conducted a referendum. And then they conducted another referendum to join Russia. So it's about 4 no's. It's 4 no's that the guys in the east of eastern Ukraine and the Crimean Peninsula told the Ukrainians, the guys in Kiev, that we don't want to be with you. No, it's over. And the guys want them back by force. And they call that liberation. How can you liberate someone from somewhere that he doesn't want to be liberated? It's like, let's say, in the communist times, the Romanian Communist Party would try to bring everybody back that defected from Romania, went to Germany, Western Germany, or United States, or Western countries, and they would try to get them back to save them from the Western countries. But they went over there. So the same is here. Let me show you this stupidity. This comes from Ukrainska Pravda. After liberating Crimea, Ukraine expects to prosecute 10,000 collaborators. So I think, baby doll, you're gonna need more than 10,000 to prosecute, because a lot of Crimeans identify as not you. Nice ring though, beautiful. So after liberating Crimea, I don't think you liberate anything. I think you're gonna occupy Crimea, because Crimea was very clear. The people of Crimea were very clear when they voted, then we don't want to be with you, baby doll, not even with you, okay? Expects to prosecute 10,000 collaborators. That's a very good, we're going to come, this is the promise. We're going to come and we're going to prosecute you, but we're going to liberate you. Isn't it a little bit strange, all this? We're going to liberate you, but you don't want to be liberated, and we're going to prosecute you. So do you still want to be liberated? Some, I'm assuming some in Crimea, obviously, would like to be liberated. But they are in a minority, as far as I know. And in Donbass as well. So you liberate what? 10%? 15%? How many do you liberate? And the rest, what are they going to do with the rest? They don't want to be liberated. They fight, and they fought. From 2014 until 2022, they fought against you, the liberators. How? You know, with the tanks, with the help of the Russians and all that. They don't want to be with you. Anyway, let's go back to the article and see how these guys are reasoning. After the liberation of Crimea, okay, you call it that way, Ukraine expects to bring to justice around 10,000 individuals who collaborated with the Russian authorities. I think there will be more than 10,000. But will not punish those who it considers victims, end quote, of the occupation. Like what, 3%? 5%? Is that collective punishment, baby doll? You're gonna go back to the book, the good book? Tamila Tasheva, permanent representative of the President of Ukraine in the Crimean Autonomous Republic, in an interview with Newsweek. Tasheva suggested that many collaborators would flee Crimea before Ukraine's armed forces enter the peninsula. Remember, this is wishful thinking right here. But anyway, at the same time, she says Ukraine is already communicating with various departments and its citizens in Crimea, urging them to leave the peninsula if possible, so as not to cooperate with invaders. Really? And go to where? Moscow, and I'm quoting, "But if you stay and participate in the illegal occupation and the war crimes committed by the Russians, you will be held to account. This won't be an easy process for them, it's going to be easy for you, which is why we are already developing the legal framework for future proceedings, including the lustration of former officials who are Ukrainian citizens that collaborated with the occupying administrations. Well, they will be banned from holding government or official roles for a number of years, at least. Hung or something? Will it be hung or something? What's this if at least is this? Many will be held to account, but it won't be millions or even hundreds of thousands. It will be maybe 10,000. So she's just about 10,000 people. We're going to take care of them and so on. But hey, why do you stop at 10,000? Why don't you go more than that? Who stops you? Details. At the same time, Tasheva noted that citizens of Ukraine who were under occupation and did not cooperate with the Russians would be considered victims of the occupation, and Ukraine will do everything to protect their rights. Tasheva, will you consider someone who operates as a business person and does business with a transaction with the Russians, is that a collaborator? And if he's a collaborator, those employees that he hired, that produced for the business with the Russians, will they be collaborators? And will their children be called collaborators? Their wives will be collaborators, because obviously the wives help them in a certain way, right? And husbands, will they be collaborators? What about the teachers who will teach in schools? The new generation, will they be collaborators? So you're going to basically arrest whomever you feel like they didn't run from the Russians, because they didn't want to run from the Russians. Who wanted to run from the Russians ran already. I remember at the beginning of this invasion, I saw some videos with people running from Ukraine, that is now Ukraine, into the incoming Russian army, towards them. You can still find, I think, the videos on YouTube. But nevertheless, this is what waiting for you, people of Crimea, the collaborators. So what would they tell you? Maybe you're going to fight harder. That would be Tanisha's Tanisha. Blow back. Oh my. Maybe that one too. So at the same time, according to Tasheva, the issue of amnesty cannot be seriously discussed while the hot phase of the war continues. There is a huge demand for justice against those who led or took part in prosecution of civilians who killed and pillaged our cities, who attacked the minorities like the Crimean Tatars. They think they will have a Tatar uprising in Crimea. That's why they keep mentioning them. And we need to satisfy that demand, she said. Well, I like that term, satisfy their demand. When I hear that, it's very, very revealing. Satisfy the crowd, the mob's demand. Oh yeah, Louis XVI, Marie Antoinette, the guillotine. Oh yeah, those guys. Remember them? Robespierre. Remember? That was demanding. Satisfying the mob demand for justice. Remember how justice was distributed? Fantastic. Did you like that? I didn't. So maybe these guys are gonna be a little bit more inventive. Well, they want to liberate someone who doesn't want to be liberated. But they can try. And in the meantime, unfortunately, the Ukrainians and the Russians kill one another like idiots for other interests. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.